Broken trust. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.Media. It's been 2 years since floods devastated large sections of southern Alberta. The flooding, which saw water fill the Calgary Saddle Dome up into the sea, should have been memorable enough just for the destruction that ensued. Instead, many of us also remember it for something else: the unprecedented assault on civil liberties, the illegal search and seizures that took place particularly in High River, south of Calgary. Yes, I'm talking about the High River gun grab, because it's been 2 years and still no justice, no action for those that saw Mounties become breakers of law instead of enforcers. It's an event that had real consequences regarding trust between the public and the police. You don't have to take my word for it that the Mounties actually broke the law. We've got a report from an RCMP watchdog group, an official government body, that says the Mounties broke the law when they decided to enter homes and seize property without warrants or any legal authority in many cases. The Mounties claim that they had legal authority to enter homes because of the emergency, and they say that they only seized guns in plain sight. That was their talking point for months, for years even. Then the report by Ian MacPhail, chair of the Civilian Review and Complaints Commission for the RCMP, came out and said, no, that wasn't the case. Quote, in a number of instances, RCMP members seized firearms that were properly secured or that were not in plain view. In these cases, the firearms were not removed with lawful authority, meaning they broke the law. The report also points out that while officers might have been justified in entering homes initially to search for survivors, subsequent visits to seize guns amounted to illegal, warrantless searches. The report details that some homes were visited 2 and 3 times. Even in cases where the RCMP did seize guns left in plain view, they still broke the law because they didn't report the seizures to a judge as required by law. Let me quote from the report again. Absent a warrant, RCMP members were obligated to report their seizures to a justice pursuant to Section 489.1 of the Criminal Code. The judicial oversight component of seizures cannot be overstated in the context of police officers taking personal property from a home. The actions of the RCMP not only damaged the reputation of the police force, they damaged the trust between them and the people they serve. A series of polls of High River residents conducted by the National Firearms Association found that 54% of High River residents say they won't evacuate in the next emergency. That's not a good outcome. 67% of High River residents did not agree with the RCMP Complaints Commission report, finding that the entry of 4,666 homes by the Mounties was appropriate, and 54% of High River residents support a judicial inquiry. I don't think a judicial inquiry will happen. If it was going to, someone would have already called it. Given that the RCMP act under provincial authority in High River and throughout Alberta, it should have been then Premier Alison Redford. Well, she didn't call it, and Premier Jim Prentice didn't call one when the report came out in February. He passed on that. In fact, I'm not even sure he was asked much about it by a media that doesn't seem interested in the story. And now with Premier Rachel Notley, will you get an inquiry? Not likely. But that doesn't mean we have to give up completely. It's time to keep pressure up so that there is no repeat of High River, there or anywhere else in the country. We need to keep up the pressure so that police know not to act like this again. So that we're launching a petition drive, and I'm going to invite you to sign this. Share it with your friends, your family, and make sure that police and politicians, be they municipal, provincial, or federal, know that you can't treat law-abiding gun owners like this. I want you to go to handsoffourguns.ca and sign the petition. Make your voice heard. All through my coverage of this story, I've gone back to a quote that's from hundreds of years ago. It's William Pitt in 1763, speaking to the British Parliament. He said, "The poorest man may in his cottage bid defiance to all the forces of the crown. It may be frail, its roof may shake, the wind may blow through it, the storms may enter, the rain may enter, but the King of England cannot enter. All his forces dare not cross the threshold of the ruined tenement." In High River, they broke that. That quote, which was referenced in the RCMP Complaints Commission report, should be on the mind of every police officer, and you can make it happen. We all want gun safety. We all understand rescuing survivors in an emergency, but that does not mean you can forget the rest of the rights you're sworn to uphold as a police officer. So go to the website, handsoffourgun.ca. You can click the link below. Join me in keeping up the fight. Remember, I'm on your side.